everyone! Welcome to the channel Question to Cure. This is the start of a medical research series where we explore large, complicated health science topics and break them down into small, bite-sized videos for any of us to learn to think like a researcher. Let's see what we have for today.
How do we cure cancer? It sounds like the most important question in medicine. And as a research question, it's completely useless. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you can't do anything with it. There's no experiment you could run tomorrow morning that would answer it. There's no result that would tell you you were wrong. A question you cannot test is a question you can't answer. And that took me an embarrassingly long time to understand. Because the big questions are the ones that make you want to do science in the first place. So here's what researchers actually do with a question that big. They zoom in. Cancer, too big. Breast cancer, still too big. One type of breast cancer cell grown in a dish, getting closer. One protein inside that cell. The rate at which those cells divide when you add it. Now you have something a person could genuinely go and measure on a Tuesday afternoon. Notice that the curiosity never changed. It's the same wonder you started with. What changed is that now it has edges. A usable question has to pass 4 tests, and dropping any one of them quietly turns it back into a daydream. Specific, not does diet matter, which diet and whom compared to what. Next, it has to be measurable. If you can't say what number you'd write down, you don't have a question yet. It also has to be feasible. If you have to be able to actually do it with the time, money, and equipment that exist, a perfect question you can't run answers nothing. Lastly, it needs to be meaningful, and this is the one most people forget. You can ask something perfectly specific, perfectly measurable, perfectly doable, and utterly pointless. Nobody needs to know how many leaves are on the tree outside my window. Let me show you the transformation. A bad question is something like, does sleep help you learn? Everyone nods, but no one can test it. Help how much? What kind of learning? Compared to what? No sleep at all? A good question is something like, do students who sleep 8 hours before a vocabulary test recall more words than the next morning than students who sleep for 5 hours? Now listen to those two out loud. The second one is longer, uglier, and much less inspiring. It would make a terrible headline. It's also the only one of the two that a real person could actually go and find out. That's the trade. Precision costs you poetry. So the shape of the work looks like a funnel. Everything you wonder about goes in at the top. One narrow, answerable question comes out at the bottom. It feels like a loss. It feels like you walked in wanting to cure a disease and walked out measuring one protein in one dish. But there's no other route. The narrow question is not a retreat from the big one, it's only a road that leads there. Which is why I don't think anybody anywhere has ever cured cancer. What happens instead is that thousands of people each answer one small question, honestly, and then another and another.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the rest of the series linked in the description below. Bye!